Hey guys, thanks for joining us again.
This is Polka Dot Adventures.
Welcome to 2026. Isn't that exciting? It's a whole brand new year and we've started it off with bad things. So, who all is involved in this peculiar effort and what are they about? Well, there are two main figures here, Tony and April, and we're going to talk about them in third person. April is a 4-year-old terrier poodle mix who came to live with Tony when she was 10 weeks old. She was the last of her litter, and she was adopted following the death of a tiny poodle rescue named Pixie.
I have to get up and walk.
April was then with them as Helia, a larger mix rescue, taught her a little bit about taking care of Tony before passing away herself, leaving April and Tony together by themselves. April has more than a bit of separation anxiety, loves to explore, gets annoyed when Tony doesn't go out and do something because she's writing too much, and is very much somewhere about wherever you find Tony.
Here's what we're doing. I have just arrived at an auto parts store where I'm going to go inside and do something, but I have to leave somebody in the motorhome. This is my first reaction to me getting ready to go. So this is part one. What? No, you have to guard the car. You got to guard the homestead. We'll be home. I'll be back in a minute, okay? No, you stay here. No, you stay here. No, stay here. No, why not? No, no. That's part one. I came back. I had to buy stuff. Are you yelling at me? I was not gone that long. I just wasn't. You can survive that. Oh, see, I told you I get yelled at. Okay, so I've got most of the stuff kind of settled in as best as I can.
Since around February of 2025, Tony and April have lived in a 30-year-old RV that they've nicknamed Antimony and have traveled across the Southwest to different locations, finally stopping and ending up in the middle of nowhere because, well, basically they ran out of money.
Alright, you can see my broken...
Now, as for Tony, well, Tony is a trans woman of Lakota, Malian, and Dutch heritage, born in January of 1965, making her a bleeding-edge Gen X. She is a third-generation Arizonan and a member of the extended Wyckoff heritage, tracing the Dutch side back to around 1637. She's bisexual, has an assortment of chronic ailments, and served in the U.S. Army. She also really hates to talk about herself, despite the confidence she has in what she's done, and so often she will go blah, 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 blah. She is, by training, a sociologist and psychologist with an additional advanced degree in comparative religion, all of which she earned during nearly a decade in her second attempt at university, and most of it was because she wanted to learn everything she could in order to create better fantasy worlds, because she loves Dungeons & Dragons, which she started playing in 1979. She was raised primarily in Scottsdale, Mesa, and Sedona, Arizona, but has ties to Prescott, Safford, Tucson, Heber, Glendale, Surprise, and El Mirage. Her childhood gave her a deep knowledge of restaurants and real estate as a result of her involved parents, despite a very complex and peculiar blended family structure. She has worked nationally and internationally on assorted research and projected outcomes, being primarily a predictive specialist focusing on the interplay between the physical and social infrastructures and social systems, as well as designing them. She is best known for having been the executive director of This Is How, a nonprofit housing activism and recovery organization in Arizona, creating the Trans 100, developing out the Trans Health Program for Borrego Health in inland Southern California, and being shockingly opinionated on a huge variety of subjects, as well as being willing to face just about anyone who has anything nasty to say about her assorted intersections. She does not describe herself as left or right politically, but many right-affiliated people find her existence to be more than a little offensive and often accuse her of being liberal, an existential threat, and a danger to others. Politically, however, her sole and overriding concern, above all else, is human rights. That's all she cares about, and she has done a great deal of work around them because of how human rights impact the whole of the world systems. Toni is a grandmother, mother, and widow. She has been married twice, is currently single, and following a series of events that kept her in a deep depression, she lost her home in 2024 and is currently working on a new project called Polka Dot Adventures, formerly the Temerity Project, because she has the temerity to be defiant. She is also halfway decent at writing about herself in the third person because she's always sort of seen herself from the outside looking in. The rest, well, you'll figure out over time. For most of the last year, Toni and April have been working very hard to make sure that antimony is capable of being lived in and that she'll survive, roughly the next 3 to 5 years of experience for them. This is important because this is where they expect to live. Along the way, one of the things that happened was Toni was gifted some things such as a drone, which, as you can tell, she's still trying to figure out how to use. The next thing to go on is that while they've been repairing things and getting things together to make them usable, they've been slowly figuring out what it is that they're going to do, and they settled on the idea of creating a homestead that not only supports themselves, but that more importantly is capable of supporting people long after they're gone. This is important, and along the way they've made several friends, and as you can see, they are truly, genuinely in the middle of nowhere right now. It's not a lot of anything. It's a desert. It's very hot in the summer, and unfortunately, as much as Toni loves to talk about being a desert girl, she's no longer capable of tolerating temperatures over 100 very well or for very long. So these factors led them to decide on buying a piece of property and parking antimony on it long enough for them to be able to build a homestead that they can live in and that they can have available for other people who may be in similar circumstances or have other needs, as well as to provide a chance for Toni to be able to do things. So that's kind of the story here. Right now, they're just kind of waiting in the middle of nowhere, doing pretty much whatever they can, such as learning how to use a drone, while also working to do the one thing that's really important right now, which is raising the money for a down payment. The reason they have to raise the money for a down payment is really simple. They live on a fixed income, and given the current climate and Toni's historic work, there's not going to be a whole lot of jobs that she can get out there for anything of any way. So she's been looking at properties, and she's come to a specific thing based on her current finances and her anticipated finances. And when I say anticipated finances, as I pointed out, Toni's 60 years old, and next year she's going to be able to collect Social Security. That will give her enough money to pay off everything and be able to build most of what she needs. Additionally, she's managed to cut back all of her personal expenses to a point where they're pretty much at a bare minimum right now. If she can get the down payment, she can actually afford to pay for and hold a property and then be able to build on that property as a whole as she goes forward. She has this all planned out because that's what she does. She plans things. It's terrible. It's horrible. You guys just, oh my gosh, if you knew her as well as I do, and trust me, I know her really, really well, you would just be like, does that girl ever do anything but plan? In any case, that's where we're at right now. And that's what this video is. This is kind of about introducing you to us and everything else. The place that we're actually looking at is familiar to us in general from long ago, and is familiar to us as part of a larger area that we are generally familiar with. But we have spouts in 3 different states, actually 4 different states as of this recording, that we're looking at. Each of them has multiple properties in them, and all of them are suitable for what we want. But again, we have to get the down payment for it. Our budget is $24,000 for a piece of property. The rules for that property are it has to be at least 10 acres because of the things we plan to build, and it has to have trees. That's pretty much it. It's okay if it gets cold. We'll figure that part out when it comes to it. And other than that, that's pretty much what we've got going so far. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and let y'all go because I know that you need something. And with that, we fade into my wonderful narrator. What do you say, narrator?
Well, I say we'll do whatever the hell we can whenever we want to. All right. You might have seen something you liked or that made you chuckle, and if so, I'm going to ask you to go ahead and subscribe and or like. Up on the screen there, you should now be seeing a scanning code you could use if you wanted to, or you can go ahead and follow the link in the description if you'd like to donate to the fund to help get this thing started. Trust me on this one, it'll be a good time. That's the end of the video.